recommendations he received. Joining me now for more on the timing and the optics of the move, the Daily Caller News Foundation editor Katie Freites and the Washington Free Beacon's Elizabeth Harrington. Ladies, good to see you. Katie, first of all, in general, I'm sure you've seen a lot of that interview. What did you make of it? I mean, he made some pretty strong comments calling Comey a showboater, et cetera.
Look, Trump's not wrong in that there was no good time to do this. And honestly, it's almost a good thing that if he was going to fire Comey, he got it out of the way now so that the news stream is condensed to the immediate and it's not a trickle of news over the next weeks for CNN and MSNBC. However, I really think it was disrespectful. No FBI director should find out he's fired on the news. He shouldn't have his car chased like it's some cop pursuit. I think that was extremely disrespectful. And to scapegoat him at the same time, Comey did not deserve that.
Elizabeth, on the timing issue, the president said there was no good time. Clearly, I think if he had fired Comey immediately out of the gate, right after his inauguration, the same thing would have happened. The media would have been down his neck about, you know, how dare he do this too soon before he gives Comey a chance, et cetera. Don't you agree?
Absolutely. I mean, the media and Democrats, that's why you see them so twisted around this story, because everything that Trump does, he can't win. It's always the worst thing ever, and it's always an impeachable offense. And what you have here with the Comey story, you can roll the tape of every leading Democrat that has at one point called for James Comey to be fired, to resign, as long as it affected Hillary Clinton negatively. You know, and then once Trump does it, how could he do it now? You know, they have no idea how to handle Jim Comey, who has been such a figure throughout this whole campaign, and now with this latest firing, it's really stunning to see the Democrats twist themselves in knots trying to say that this is the worst thing ever when they themselves have called for his resignation. And
it's also something, Katie, to see how quickly they've dropped Hillary Clinton down the chute. I mean, forget about all the damage that was done to her. She may have lost the election because of Comey. Now they don't care. I mean, you know, loyalties don't seem to last long. Maybe it's generally true, whether you're Democrat or Republican, but particularly with the Democrats.
Well, of course. And I mean, look at what Trump did today. He retweeted Rosie O'Donnell, who called for Comey to be fired a few months ago, which is pretty funny in itself. But I think Trump has an opportunity here. You know, Kevin Daly at the Daily Caller News Foundation pointed out that Merrick Garland is an amazing opportunity here as a potential FBI director. He has bipartisan support. He has an impeccable record. And his appointment to the FBI would open up a judicial nomination for Trump of a conservative. It would appease the left. It would make Trump look good, and it would offer him a lot of options. So I think he needs to consider him more than he has been.
It's an interesting idea, but Elizabeth, you know, to Katie's original point that Comey shouldn't have been treated the way he was, and there were some Republicans who agree with that, by the way. There have been other FBI directors that presidents have despised, and I'm thinking of John F. Kennedy and J. Edgar Hoover. They couldn't stand each other. Hoover tried to get dirt on Kennedy, and frankly, I'm sure he got a lot of dirt on Kennedy, but he held back because they did learn to work together. No matter who is appointed, is there any possibility that the real hatred, the visceral hatred between Comey and Trump might be avoided?
Yes, I think so. And I think, honestly, that might be a reason why Trump kept him around at least as long as he did, because he maybe saw an opportunity that he could work together with him and let all the baggage from the campaign and all that be over with. But really, moving forward, I don't think Trump wants a bad relationship, but I think the time... Comey's time had come. He was never going to last. He had been over head of the FBI for a very long time and over a lot of scandals. I mean, the stuff we forget about, the China OPM hack. He was the head of the FBI. That we never talk about that. A nefarious adversary that hacked and stole all of our government's information. He was still head of FBI. You had Snowden. The list goes on, and the Clinton email investigation as well was not handled properly. It was his time to go.
As far as Judge Garland, by the way, I don't think he has any law enforcement experience, so that might be a negative with regard to him. But it's an interesting suggestion. Ladies, thank you very much. Good stuff.
Thanks.
Well, a GOP senator throwing out